Welcome to the Eagle Talk Show. Soon you will be soaring high with your host, Mengistu Wolokoli, aka the Black Eagle, and the esteemed Dr. Kete Kumamare. Don't miss the flight. Let's take off together.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. If you're joining us on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Joining on Facebook, thank you for joining us. This is Eagle Talk Uncut. Eagle Talk Uncut. Today we're supposed to have Mr. Alice Choo Choo Jones on the show with us this evening. Waiting for him to join us. Hopefully he will be joining us soon. See him in the back. Let me try and bring him in.
Mr. Wolokoli, good evening.
Mr. Jones, good evening, sir. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. Good to be on.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for accepting my invitation to show up on the show this evening. I'm looking forward to a spirited debate, argument. However, I know you and I have been on various platforms and we have debated.
Yep.
And, it's only fitting that you come on my platform so we can debate on stuff, on issues that's affecting our nation as a whole and where the future lies within us to move our nation to a better place. I believe that you are someone who have a great love and respect for the country. I believe that you want to see this country move forward. We may disagree on how we get there, but that's not something that we should tear each other down. You are my brother. You are my fellow Liberian, fellow Black man, fellow African. So I don't believe in tearing another Black man down or speaking of another Black man, regardless of our political differences. But I think that in the future, now and in the future, we can work together for what's in the best interest of Liberia and of Africa. Thank you for accepting my invitation to appear on the show. To everybody listening on Facebook, on YouTube, please share, comment it, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Mr. Jones, I give you the floor to your welcome remarks.
Yeah, well, thank you first of all, and as you rightly said, we've been on many platforms together. We do agree to disagree, but I think the underlying point is that we want to see the country move forward. We want to see young people empowered in Liberia, get jobs, get opportunities. And I believe those are things that we both share. Well, congratulations on your show, and I'm always here to participate whenever called upon. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for appearing. We had a little difficulty. Unfortunately, LEC in Liberia went away, so I had to go put a generator on for us to make sure the show, the show must continue. Show must go on. But Mr. Jones, I would like to ask you a question. What are your thoughts so far uh, on this? We're 9 months into the Joseph Boyka and Jeremiah Cohn administration.
Well, I'm not surprised. As you know, my predictions were they were going to do horribly. It was going to be corrupt government. There was going to be a government that going to divide the people instead of uniting the people. Um, it was going to be more of the same. I said that emphatically during the elections. I predicted this will happen. They're going to take more debt. As we can see, the debt has increased now to 2.5 billion. That's within a few months' time, they've already borrowed over $200 million, and so the country is in serious problem, uh, and it's dysfunctional, and that's because of the leadership that were chosen last year in the person of Joseph Boyka. I was very clear that he did not demonstrate any leadership in his past record. Now anybody can verify or substantiate. He ran based on tribe and based on maintaining the old system, bringing all the old people back into power who failed the country, failed the people. And so I'm not surprised, as most Liberians are. One can say, oh, there was no alternative. There were plenty of alternatives, including yourself. Uh, I would take my chances any day of the week on any young and new person than on anybody in the old regime or who served previously. I'd rather give a new person who is not part of the corruption an opportunity. Um, but many Liberians didn't see it that way. Hopefully, in the next election, they will come to the senses and realize that to change, you need new people, people who are not already infested in the culture of corruption, where people go to government just to live a good life. They can't get a job anywhere in the world, so they run to Liberia. They hurriedly get some degrees in America. And those are the people we see today in government, or they've been from one government to another government, one government to another government. So I hope that changes in the next election, especially to the young people. I want to
So
admonish
there's two things for what you just said, and I have a question to everything you just said. One, when you said the same system, what kind of system are you speaking of, and what if you had a chance to do it? If it was you sitting where Joseph Boyka, President Boyka, is sitting right now, what are you going to change? What kind of system will you want to implement? When you
well,
say system, what do you mean by system?
where the culture of corruption, the culture of impunity, the culture of recycle failed politician. If
Mhm.
somebody were Minister of Finance, all right, on an Ellen or Joshua, obviously that person failed miserably because Liberia is still the seventh poorest country in the world. There's still huge abject poverty. There's no jobs. So what can that person do now that it could not have done earlier when the US and the United Nations and all these countries were providing aid and support? So the first culture is there will be no recycle person. You get one shot. You come, you perform. In any government, if you didn't perform in the previous government, you're not going to perform in my government. Okay. Secondly, the culture where you got to be part of a political party, whether you qualify or not, then you get a position. You see what happened to LDC, LPRC, National Port Authorities. These were highly incapable people with no track record. Uh, they simply got the position because they were part of the rescue people, part of Boca and the Unity Party. We need to change that culture where people should be hired based on performance, based on proven record. So nobody, whether you part of a political party or my party, if I do intend to set up a party, which I do not, uh, you want everybody to come to the table, all candidates for the position. And the best person, you have a committee, the best person evaluate everyone. They look at past records. and they select the person, and the president appoints the person. But that's not the culture in Liberia. Culture in Liberia,
Okay,
can you have the
so let me push back a little bit, because then let's say, the people in Liberia will say, if you are saying that, then which means the Liberians in Liberia, when you say that, they are going to say that you're not going to hire none of them, then why should they elect you? Or you're going to bring a bunch of people like Liberians that they think is, maybe foreigners and things like that, from overseas, to come and do the job and take jobs from them. You're taking jobs from them.
Well, first of all, I mean, I just rhetoric. I can give a damn about what are you from, America, China, Liberia, Grand Bassa County, Nima County. It doesn't matter to me. In a good organization, everyone would be given the same opportunity to apply for a job. I was just saying, not because you're part of a party. CDC gets in power, what they do, they bring all the party people and make them ministers. Unity party people get in power, they bring all the people and make them ministers. That should not happen. When it comes to a job, a government job, top government level, every Liberian should have the same opportunity, should be evaluated the same way. What are they in America or they in Liberia? So I'm not going to play to this thing where somebody taking your job. I'd rather somebody take your job and improve your life and give you opportunity where you can even make more money than government official, than take somebody from Liberia who is not qualified, as you can see, and you suffer. So the best person is irrespective of where you live, um, you know, should get the job. Period. The person in China is still Liberian. The person in America is still Liberian. The person in Riverside County is still Liberian. What I'm saying is that a real government, or a serious government, or administration, or president should make sure that everyone who is given a top level position is the best that Liberia can offer. And that's not the culture we have right now. And that's what I would change if I were elected, or if I get elected.
Okay, so then my next question to you on that, what you said previously, you said Liberians who can get a job in Liberia, in the U.S. or around the world, so they run out to Liberia. Can you give us names of some of those people that you can that you made these allegations, that you are making these allegations of?
Oh yeah, I can give you lots of names. Burma Kamara, the former finance minister, he never worked anywhere. He went to school in America. To the best of my knowledge, had no job, meaningful job in America until he comes to Liberia and gets a job at the central bank. Gafuan, the current finance minister, right? He never worked in any advanced country, even though he claims to have a degree from an advanced country. So if he were qualified, then obviously
the current finance minister is saying that he was working at a World Bank. Recently left the World Bank in a country. I don't know what. I forgot
no, he
what
was
country
not
it
working at
was.
a World Bank. He was working in Tanzania as the country director
Okay.
for the African Development Bank. So that's still
African Development Bank.
Okay.
So are you saying that he has only worked in Liberia and in Tanzania? Tanzania is a pretty developed country.
Yeah, but I won't consider that even a top position. All right. He was former finance minister. He went to school or got some degree in America. There are plenty of banks in America. There are plenty of financial institutions in America, in Europe, everywhere. To get a low position coming from a finance minister, in fact, let me educate you on this. The current head of the African Development Bank was I think, agriculture minister in Nigeria. And he could go to become the head of African Development Bank. A country director is a low level position. Okay. It's not an executive level position. So how do you become finance minister in your country? Right? And then you leave from your country and go and work on an agriculture minister from Nigeria. You're now on the board, you're now in the executive office, and you look at the organizational chart. It's a low level position, you know. So those are some of the things I'm talking about.
All right.
So those who boasting about it.
Give me a few more names.
Well, I can even Joseph Boyka. Joseph Boyka was retired for 5
No, no,
years,
no, no,
6
no,
years.
no. The people just that he was elected. Let's say people who left their jobs and stuff. Let's leave it to, he was elected. The people elected him. So let's leave him out
Okay,
of there. So
all right. The LPRC managing director. He went to school, I believe, in America. He has some education in America. No
mhm.
record of any job that he's held in any developed country. Then comes to become managing director of the oil producing oil corporation in Liberia. All right, Mo Ali, water and sewer managing director, passed around in America for 5 years. Where was his credential? Where did he work? All of a
The
sudden he
people would say for Mo Ali, they said that he has a degree in environmental or water something. That's nothing to say that that's what his degree is.
Yeah,
He
but he
is
traveled to he earned certification in some water project. Wherever you earn your degree, what I'm saying, you do not take
mhm.
someone who does not have experience. You can earn a degree from Howard University. If you're qualified and capable, there will be plenty of opportunities that will pay you well in any country, especially in the United States. You can't leave a year with a degree or paper and never work in any major, or never work in America in any administrative position. Maybe he worked here, but maybe in as a housing, what you call it, healthcare worker. So that's what I'm talking about. And the list can go on and on and on. I mean, I don't think that anybody or that many people in this regime that can boast of having any kind of stellar record in the field of which they could earn a degree, whether finance, business, engineering, whatever the case. So what I'm talking about, like if you look at somebody like Alice Cummings are proven to be a capable manager in the United States, in Nigeria, in South Africa. If you're hiring somebody like that as a finance minister or central bank governor, I have no qualms with it. He's proven himself. But you don't take people who are not capable, nobody wants, and you bring them and then you expect the country to grow and develop. That's my point.
So okay, so what do you think of the Minister of Justice?
Well, I don't know his background in terms of, like I said, most of them. So there may be one or
Okay,
two exceptions.
what do you think of right now we have in the news with the Minister of Commerce, Ami Modai.
I
What
mean,
is
my
what
dad
is
worked here as a truck. I mean, my dad worked in America as a truck driver. This is something that I know. This is something that he disclosed. He earned his MBA from America online, and he worked as a truck driver. He didn't work in commerce in America. He didn't work in any business. He didn't do any management in America. And then he goes to Liberia and become commerce minister. That's a disgrace. There are Liberians who are working. It doesn't have to be America. It could even be in Liberia. There are people, Liberians are working at the banks. There are Liberians who are very capable in Liberia that
but
work
Ami
in
Modai
different
would say
areas.
that he's a businessman. He's in the business sector, and he's doing he's doing stuff. He had been doing stuff. He had been in the business sector for so long. So he think that he would believe that he's capable to run the commerce ministry.
I would think not, because again, you have to have experience in administration. Running a business, private business, is not a public corporation. Nobody knows where your financial statement is. Nobody knows where you got your money from. Before Ahmed Modar started his business, he was a poor man. He was on the investment commission, which is a corrupt agency, in Liberia. So how do I know that the business was ran efficiently? There's no record to substantiate it. So I can care less. Show me something where you have a reference. Running your private business in Liberia after working in a government, corrupt government, is nothing to boast of. You should be ashamed of yourself. If you are capable, he would have been here, maybe a manager, junior level, or senior level manager at Marriott or Hyatt or one of the brands of hotel management. So my point I'm making is I'm not a big fan of, you gotta come from America or you even gotta have a degree. It's stupidity to think that you gotta have a master's degree or PhD. Yes, you gotta have some level of education, but you don't have to even have a bachelor's degree in order to be a good and efficient manager. But you gotta have experience. Bill Gates doesn't have a degree. So are you telling me that Bill Gates cannot be a good minister in Liberia? You know, Mark Zuckerberg that
But,
owns
but,
Facebook.
but,
Hold
but
on.
but the thing is
But
that
let me land on this
when you
point.
look at
Let me,
when you want to use Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, those people went to the private sector because if you look at all the ministers, let's take for example all the secretaries of departments in the U.S. These are people who have worked and they have degrees and so forth, masters, PhDs that they have in the
not
Secretary of
necessarily.
Defense.
Not
Like
necessarily.
like what? Which department? Which
First of
second?
all, it's not. First
Listen
of
to my
all,
question. Listen to my question. Listen to my question. You say not necessarily. If you look around in the current administration, in the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris administration, the people who are there, they have a level of master's degree and probably PhDs that are working as secretary of the department, which is equivalent to our ministers. So for you to say now that you don't have to have a master's, a bachelor's degree to be ministers, I beg the difference. Can you enlighten me on that? Let's take a quick break.
okay.
While you think about that question,
That is the
let's
mistake
take a
that
quick
people.
break. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back for you to answer that question.
Okay.
All right.
Welcome to the Eagle Talk Show. Soon you will be soaring high with your host, Mengistu Wolokoli, aka the Black Eagle, and the esteemed Dr. Kete Kumamare. Don't miss the flight. Let's take off together.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Eagle Talk Uncut. I'm here with Mr. Alex Choo Choo Jones. Welcome back, Mr. Jones. As I asked you the question earlier, the statement you made about you don't have to have a bachelor's degree or so forth. So, are you saying that in your administration that people without a bachelor's degree or master's degree would become ministers and so forth, deputy ministers? Is that what you are saying right now?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the most qualified person, and qualification
Okay.
does not necessarily mean that you have an
Mm-hmm.
advanced degree. It does not necessarily mean that your degree is from America. If a business person in Liberia without any degree has proven to be a very good business person, that we can validate their success, how they work in their communities, how they were able to create distribution and things like that, that person is more qualified than somebody with a PhD. So that's what I'm saying. I respect education, and I myself is an educated person, but I know enough about business management to know that some of the best and brightest managers in the world today does not have a lot of degrees, if any. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Okay. So, what are your thoughts on the scandal that is right now plaguing the Commerce Minister Amin Modai about buying a $96,000 vehicle and it was supposedly purchased by Liberian Revenue Authority? Have you seen
Yeah. Mhm. Well, I mean, I do not preoccupy myself these days, with news of scandal. I predicted it. I try to educate the Liberian people on these politicians, because that's what they are, and they're career corrupt. So, it's a waste of my time. There will be more scandals. These people, have been known, they have a track record of bribery, corruption, conniving, and all these things. So they're liars, they're rogues, and they use the government and the money for the country for themselves. The first place they do is they pay themselves excess amount of money in the poorest country. Why should anybody be making $5,000 a month? A country that the average pay is $60 a month, $2 a day. That's the first corruption. Those are the corruption that Joseph Boakai and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and all these people, Josh Weah, those are the corruption. The first corruption is called embezzlement. When you go and pay yourself an exorbitant amount of money from a company or country. So you don't even need to look further. If you really want to look for good people who will say, I can't live for myself if I'm the president of Liberia and I'm making $200,000-$300,000 a year, and the people in my very county don't have clean drinking water. The salaried professors and teachers and nurses making under $500 a month. It's wickedness. So I proposed during the election that no one will make over $3,000 in pay and compensation, and I stand by that. I will not
your administration.
If I'm elected president of Liberia, no one will make over $3,000 a month. Period. I would not. Excuse me.
You said nobody would make over $3,000 in the executive branch?
Everybody. I will not sign any budget. The president has to sign the budget. Whether the legislator make the budget, whatever budget they want to come up with, I, Chuchu Alice Jones, will not sign any budget that anybody, including the president, is making more than $3,000 a month in pay and compensation. Period.
What happens if the legislator override your veto?
If they override a veto, then that's fine. But that means I didn't sign it.
Okay, but you saying so? You said this on a show before. I don't know if I was on it, but I think I heard it. Thing. How are you, as the president, going to make people only get paid $3,000? I'm right now. What the power you have as the president, as the head of the executive branch, is for your ministers. How are you going to get the legislator to do it?
Well, I think the Minister of Finance makes the budget along with the president. He works with the members of the House of Representatives and the Senate, but he is the one responsible to construct the budget. So when he's constructing the budget, he's not going to put pay of a legislator $8,000 or $7,000 or $4,000, whatever that figure is. He's going to put
Mr. Jones, the budget starts from the House of the administration create a budget. The House of Representatives start the budget. It's derived from the House. If you have if they have, let's say for example, 2029, you were to be elected president, and you have the current the current people in the House of Representatives and the Senate that are, but we have now, and they are re-elected, and you are saying that you wanted to make $3,000, and they have the overriding veto, because you can veto it, but they have the overriding. They can override your veto. Now I'm putting our question to you. My question is, how are you going to make the legislators to pass a budget that would make them make no more than $3,000?
How? Okay, I'm going to let them know that that's how much they need to make, less than $3,000 for the interest of the country, to build the country.
Say again.
I'm going to influence them. I'm going to ask them to do that. The president has tremendous amount of power and influence. I'm going to use that power to have.
So now, so are you are you retracting your statement saying that they would make $3,000, or are you is your new statement that you are going to influence them to make $3,000?
Well, nothing has changed in my statement. I say I would not sign any budget where anybody in government is making
Agree.
3,000.
I'm saying that, but I'm saying to you,
So okay.
you have the veto power. But if they have the veto, they have the overriding veto power to override your stuff. Then what is it that you are going to do?
Okay. So give me a minute. Let me answer the question so we can pass this, this hurdle. One, my statement is it remains nobody in Liberia will be budgeted to make more than $3,000 a month. If the I'm going to instruct my minister of finance, make the budget where everybody in the government will make less than $3,000 a month. Now, he's going to submit that budget to the House of Representatives, correct? The House of Representatives can debate it. They can change it. They can try to refuse it. But the one that we are going to submit from a Chuchu Alice Jones administration is going to make sure that nobody makes side money. Wherever they do, right, they're going to have to bring it back to the president to sign it. I'm going to review it and sign. No, I will not sign any budget that anybody is making more than $3,000. So I will veto it. If they go back and they override it, I have done my job. I've kept my promise. Okay, so that's what I can do. That's what I can do.
Mr. Jones, I want to push back a little bit because this is the problem I have with people coming to run in government, that not understanding how government works. People wanting to get into the elected positions in the presidents, House of Representatives, senators, but not understanding how government works. So my issue with you, that when you make these statements, I feel like you don't understand how government works, because you are not telling the Liberian people what the reality is or will be. So now I'm trying to get you to understand. Maybe you don't understand how legislations are passed. So for me, I think that is, if you know how legislations are passed, and you are saying what you are saying, you are being disingenuous to the people. But if you don't know how legislations are passed, then that's a different story. Then I think that you need to redefine on how your message to the Liberian people, because I see a lot of people who run for office, especially in the senator and representative. In Liberia here, we have people who say they had the three cardinal rules of the legislator is oversight, representation, and lawmaking, which I think is one of the biggest bull crap that we can have, that people who are running. I think any legislator, anybody running for legislation, running for representative or senator in the Republic of Liberia, repeat those three statements, they should disqualify them from being a representative or a senator, meaning that the voters should run away from them. So I'm coming to you on this, like saying, I'm trying to understand something. If the House of Representatives is the purse of the country, the budget derives from the House of Representatives, goes to the Senate do that stuff, send it back to the House of Representatives, and then the House of Representatives send it to the president. The president can write his or her budget, send it to the House of Representatives. They decide, the House of Representatives can align, address it, fix it, and take away, add, and so forth. So I'm saying to you, if you stay standing by your statement and that everybody in Liberia would be making $3,000, no more than $3,000, you're saying that's what you would do as in your administration. And I'm explaining to you on how how budgeting works, how the law is passed. Do you still stand by that statement? Okay. If the House of Representatives, if you say $3,000, everybody will be making, and the House of Representatives and the Senate override your veto? Do you still stand by a statement saying that you
Okay,
would do it? Or are you going to adjust your statement saying that you will present a
think I've
budget?
answered that question. I think I've answered that question, and I don't want to debate it. I answered that question
Sir,
several times.
you are on the ego talk. It's about debating.
Okay.
You know,
But
you and
what I'm
I
saying,
when we meet.
when I get there, you should watch and you will see. Nobody in Liberia will make more than $3,000 in government. If you don't believe me,
So okay, let's put. So if you saying that, if the House of Representatives, can you make a commitment and a commitment right now from you, since you are confident in what you're saying? If you are elected president, right, and the House of Representatives and the Senate override your vote, will you step down and resign as president because that's a promise that you did not keep?
Okay. So first of all, you're using a lot of supposition, hypothetical.
No, I'm not because no, Mr. Jones.
Let
No. I want us. The ego talk is for us to be thing. I just explained to you. You are trying to stick to a point that you know. Right now, I feel like you are being disingenuous to the people of Liberia, watching now, later, and so forth. You do not have the power. The president do not have the power to change the legislative pay. You do not. They have to agree to it. So if you do not, so which means it's two things. You're not going to be a dictator, or you are not going to make it's not going to happen. It's going to be a promise that you are going to lie to the Liberian people from your statement, from the statement that you are making, that everybody will make $3,000 or less. If you say my ministers will make $3,000 and less in the executive branch, that's a statement because you have control over the executive branch. You have no control over the legislative branch. There are three equal branches of government with same power.
Okay, so you called me here to answer a question. You have to give me the opportunity to answer the question.
I am. Yes, sir.
Okay. My statement remains the same. Why, president? I'm going to submit a budget that no one working in government is going to make more than $3,000. I have been involved in Liberian politics. I have written about it. I've served on numerous platforms. I am well versed in how Liberian government works. If a George Weah can run Liberia with mediocre education and knowledge coming from the football field, or Alex Jones, with his experience and knowledge, is way more capable and qualified. If a Joseph Walker can be president of Liberia, we're all conducting one real interview, and Alex Jones that is capable of going on any platform, any day or night to answer any question. I'm sure Alex Jones is knowledgeable enough to understand how a little Liberia works when he writes and analyzes much bigger things, much bigger complex budgetary situation. So you don't have to worry. And no Liberian.
Thank you for the amendment of your statement.
Okay. So no Liberian should be worried. Okay. So let me close on this. No Liberian should have any
so let me ask this question. I just listened. I don't know if you have listened to the president address to the UN. Have you had a chance to listen to it?
No, I have not, and I'm not. It's useless. So there's no point of it.
I think it's good to hear where your opponent or your enemy is saying, so you can you can analyze to critique them in a way that is necessary. You can
it will be printed. I'm sure the statement. I don't listen most of the times to speeches and stuff. I read them. Okay, so it will be printed out in the papers. I read the Liberian papers every day. Okay, every newspaper in Liberia I read it. Part of many editorial boards.
I sent you some articles. For us.
I read them. So correct. So I'm very awkward with the situation. like I said, I read every Liberian newspaper and report on Liberia. So obviously, at some point, I'll read it. But so far, there's nothing. There's no headlines that have changed
What
anything in
what's
Liberia.
your take? What's your take on former finance minister returning to the country and turning himself over and posting an $8 million bond?
I think it's the right thing to do. I think if you're charged with a crime, that you should submit to the law, and I commend him for doing that.
What's your take on Musa Hassan Belite resigning from Liberty Party as a chairman?
I think he should have done that a long time ago. I was one of those critics earlier on with the Liberian parties, that where you have a party where it's being controlled by one person. You can be a member of the House of Representatives at the same time be the chairman of the party. We have that same situation with the Unity Party, where there are party officials that are serving in government, when the law clearly states that you cannot be a senior member of a party and be also an appointee in government. So
the law does not state that.
Well, there are some ethical rules against it. So
no, the law does not state that. The code of conduct does not state that. You are the fifth person that have made this argument, and I have debunked it, and I tell them to go read it. The law states, because the Constitution of the country is the principal Bible of the thing. The Constitution cannot infringe on the rights of an individual because you are in a political party, for you not to work in the government. It states that between the working hours, you cannot be involved in political activities. Akara's Gray said the same thing on another network, and someone tried to argue with me about it, and I told him to go and read. So I would recommend that you read the code of conduct. It does not state that if you are a member of a political party, you cannot hold a position in.
But that's not what I'm. That is not what I'm saying. I've read the code of conduct. The code of conduct clearly said, you cannot hold a position while at the same time serving in a public position, in a appointed position. So if you're chairman, it didn't say. Hold on here.
No, the code of conduct did not say that. You have to understand. Mr. Jones.
Let me finish. Let me finish, man. Let me land before you.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
It does not say you cannot be a member of a political party and work in the government. But membership and leadership of a political party are two distinct things. Okay, so you cannot be Secretary General. From what I've read, and you can debate this, you can bring the code of conduct up, that it will be a conflict of interest if you're serving as a senior member of a political party or another organization, while at the same time holding a position. That's why you're even asked, when you're holding public position, ministerial position, where you have to resign before you can even run. So I'm not going to go into the legality of that, but from what I've read and familiar with the code of conduct,
Mr. Jones, I will say again, no, the code of conduct. First of all, a political party is a private entity. It's not a government-ran entity. Conduct state, if you are a minister, if you are in the government, you have 2 years. 2 years prior to the election, you must resign. Political party is a private entity. Political party is not a public entity. It's a private entity. So the Constitution, that's infringing on someone's constitutional rights, saying because they hold a private entity, political party position, so which means they cannot work in there. The code of conduct will never go against the Constitution of someone individual's rights. It states in it that you cannot practice political activities within this hour from 8:30 to 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. you cannot come on the grounds of the public's ministry and campaign. You cannot wear party affiliation paraphernalia. You cannot demand people to work to vote for your party because of the ministry that you are in and so forth. That's where it states. It does not state that if you are a member of a political party holding a high position that you cannot hold a position. It does not state that. I have read it. I have challenged people on it. Nobody has said it. Carlos Gray went
Well,
on another network.
I would take your So I would take your challenge. We can come on another time where we can We can pull out the code of conduct, right?
All right. So
hold on now. Hang on now. Like I said, I'll take your challenge, and we're on the record, and we'll pull out the code of conduct and what conflict of interest means. Conflict of interest in the code of conduct means you cannot be heading another entity and be at the same time representing the Liberian people in a key level position. It doesn't say you can be party members. You can be your party members. You can go to your party meeting after. But when you're party secretary general, what time are you going to make party announcement? You're going to make it after 6 o'clock? So obviously it's a conflict of interest. Once you take the position in government, you cannot hold that position. That is my understanding of it, and we can come back another time and we can debate it and discuss it. But I've read the code of conduct and the conflict of interest.
Yes, sir. I look forward to that discussion. Look forward to it.
Great.
All right, so the articles and stuff that I sent you, I don't know what is if I'm not mistaken, what is your take on them? I want us to discuss.
Well, I mean, the articles concerning Amin Moda, like I said, I'm
talking about the support for war and economic crime code. That's one of my things. Let me put the disclaimer. I'm one of the people who said that the war and economic crime code is not going to go anywhere and is not going far enough. Especially, I think that it needs to go all the way back to April 12, 1980, for and so forth. So, what say you?
Well, the war, I strongly support the War Economic Crimes Code, and I will agree with you that the war economic crimes did not start up, in 1990 or in the last few years. So I think economic crimes, especially economic crimes, began even prior to 1980. So any injustice, people must face justice from that time. So I'm in agreement with you on that. Also in agreement with you that this government doesn't have the moral standard to, prosecute any war economic crimes code. It's all charade. We heard John Molu, who has been a supporter of Joseph Boakai, talked about conversations he's had with Boakai and members of the government. That is all joke. So I'm not going to waste too much time on it. The Liberian people will see in time that Joseph Boakai is not a serious person. So nothing he said he's done. He talked about the rules. No car being stuck on their rules in 3 months. What happened? We talked about the asset recovery. In fact, the head of the asset recovery is being accused of corruption and malfeasance. What else? You talked about support for health, education, sanitation. Look at the city. You live there. So again, these are all the things that I, was campaigning strongly that against the political parties, that they created a mess and they are not capable of cleaning up that mess. And this is a serious matter because young people, are going to be the victims of it. They are the ones who are jobless. They are the ones who don't have transportations to go to school, whether at the university or Fender. And my only disappointment is these young people they've been deceived, or they've deceived themselves to believe that Anybody in this past administration, regardless of your grandpa or what county he's come from, have your best interests at heart. But they all jump behind the bandwagon, and today they're beggars. They call in to ask for tuition and ask for graduation. So it's a shame on them when they see all other people who were not part of this corrupt system, and they did not support those people, including myself. It's only by the grace of God and having fortitude that we can still come out to advocate for them. Most of them are not serious. They want other people to do their bidding for them with the election, and then collect little money here and there, and give up their vote. And at the end of the day, they go back to the same neglect. So my presence in the whole Liberian politics is to help young people, to inspire young people to think for themselves and stop following corrupt politicians. I can join any political party. I can get in a job in any Liberian government. I can be corrupt just like anybody else and just think of myself, but I got to live for myself and the choice. If I can do it and say, hey, let me do the right thing, sure enough, if you can do it and say, let me do the right thing, sure enough, they should be in a position where to not support a party or a person simply because of handout. And so 2029, they'll have another opportunity to make the right decision. I'm not saying you got to vote for me or support me, but you can't support people who don't have your interest and then feel sorry for yourself. You will go through hardship and you will suffer. What Collie is not going to suffer. Alex Jones is not going to suffer. So that's the choice that you have to make. So I have no pity on you. You're a thinking person. You got a little bit of education. You're not living in interior with no education. You can read. And you sit there and let Joseph Boga fool you and tell you all this nonsense. And today you can't even get transportation. When it rains, the whole city is flooded, then that's your problem. I can't help you. So wise up and do the right thing. And you also run for positions. If it's tough. It's not easy going on shows, being scrutinized. It's not easy devoting my time to Liberian politics. I have my own life. And I'm only doing it because of the hope in the young people. The young people are the majority. And if they don't see their own interests, I'll come to Liberia and play golf. That's it.
Hey, you can jump on the golf course. I know. Make sure I put a whooping on you.
Yeah, I'll come there and I'll take your challenge and we'll go play golf every day. And they will be.
I don't know about every day now. I ain't walk. I'm not in the army no more. I don't do. I walk. I ain't walking no 9 holes or 18 holes. No.
Go on the beach. But no, it's a serious matter.
I want to play golf. Golf is fun. I enjoy golf. It's a very relaxing sport. But afterwards, a very relaxing sport.
And I hope that more young people will get into it. I say I hope that more young people will get into other sports instead of soccer.
Yes. So let me ask this question: do you plan on running in 2029?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Are you running in a political party or as an independent?
I don't know at this point. I will be returning to Liberia finally to live in Liberia beginning next year and going through my retirement process. And as soon as that is completed, I'll be moving to Liberia to live and to live there. And once I get there, between now and 2029, or then in 2029, I will decide, but it will definitely not be any party that's in collaboration or affiliation with CDC or United Party. But there are other parties that are willing to.
What are your three? What are three things that you plan on running on?
My platform, my campaign never stopped. It's the same platform that we're on cutting government costs, especially in terms of pay to officials and representatives. That's one. Giving cash transfers and supports to the elderly, the unemployed, and the youth students. Uh, prioritizing most of the educational institutions to allow Liberian businesses and in the educational sector, because I think education is very important. Um, also health. To
Okay.
healthcare and equal assistance, especially. And I also pledge that as president, I'm not going to travel for any medical treatment. Me and my family, everybody going to go to public hospital who work in my government. You can choose one, but you go to a public hospital. If you work in my government, you will have to send your kids to public school, whether you pay for it or not, or you are not working in my government. My kids will go to public school until the public schools are transferred to private school where everybody gets a voucher. Then that's a different story. So those are two things that I challenge all the aspiring to make those same pledges. 30, I'm not going to leave the country for any meeting unless it's on Air Liberia. So whether it's United Nations or it's on any meeting, Liberia must have a carrier. And we can't be flying Kenya Airways, and flying other people as presidents or chartering private jets when we can build our own airline. We had airline in the 70s. What was why what would it take to invest in it so that when it's time for officials and the president to travel, that you can fly on your own carrier. So those are things that I talked about earlier, and nothing has changed in my campaign. Not one word, because it was well thought out what I was going to do, and it had not stopped. Has not stopped. It's the same campaign I'm thinking on. No recycle politician. Opportunities for everybody. No selection on based on party and all that kind of stuff. If a CDC man is qualified for a position, he's going to get the position. If a Unity Party man is qualified for a position, you get the position, or she'll get the position. There's going to be no party, no preference. I'm not going to appoint uh, unilaterally. I'm going to set up a committee for every time. They are going to come up with the names. They are going to evaluate the candidates, and only from the top three candidates, I'm going to select.
Mr. Jones, thank you for honoring our show this evening. I enjoy our conversation. Like I said, you and I, we always go at it. I enjoy our debate. I'm looking forward to you coming to Liberia, and
Yes.
I'll welcome you with open arms. So at least I can have somebody here to debate me, on that level that I would like to be challenged. I think we how will I say it? We
Yeah.
elevate each other and stuff, when it
Absolutely.
comes to debate. I appreciate it. There's
Mhm.
all love for you. I know people think that we don't like sometimes we don't like each other, but it's nothing like that. We
No,
always, it's like two brothers always fighting. So I
exactly. And
enjoy
we're fighting for the
I
same thing. Fighting to make
but for the
Liberia
same
better.
thing, we may look at it differently. I'm more a
Yeah.
tactician, looking at it from the law standpoint, how to
Correct.
attack, how to make
Correct.
stuff. You are passionately about the same thing, but
Correct.
I like to look at how the legality of things are. But you like to punch straight in the mouth,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. But I think that in the future we can work together, you
Oh yeah.
know, and make Liberia a better place for the future of Liberia. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll have you on the show soon again. If you ever need a platform to talk about something and you want to discuss, please come to Kua TV. Please share our show. I'm trying to make sure Kua TV is one of the premier YouTube channel in Liberia podcast thing in Liberia. With your help, I hope that you can share it to your many followers and listeners and that follow you to make sure that we make cool TV. This is where people can come and share their ideas, debate issues, debate policies, talk free. Don't have to worry about, when I tell people, anybody come on the show, you don't have to pay me to come on the show. There's not, uh, for us to make money. We'll find other means to us to do it. The subscription, the views and stuff, that's what we need. Thank you for coming. I love you, brother. I
Yeah.
appreciate everything you have done. Continue to fight, and God bless you.
Yeah. And back say again, I applaud you for returning home after your retirement. And the only reason I have not returned yet, I'm not going to Liberia for vacation for 2 weeks and stay in a hotel. I want to go to Liberia to live and work and do business just like you and be a part of the system. So I must applaud you, and I will be on your show. When even after I'm elected, I will select time to be on whatever program. I'm not going to run away from the press. I'll be there, and anybody can ask me any question or call me. That's a
Thank
promise.
you, brother.
Oh, if I don't keep that promise, then I'll resign.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
All right, take care. Good.
All right.
Welcome to the Eagle Talk Show. Soon you will be soaring high with your host, Mengistu Wolokoli, aka the Black Eagle, and the esteemed Dr. Kete Kumamare. Don't miss the flight. Let's take off together.
So everybody, thank you for watching this show. It was a pleasure for anybody. Please like, subscribe, and share this channel. Thanks to everybody that's watched, everybody that want to watch later. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate all the support from all everybody that have been showing support and love to the Cool TV, the Eagle Talk Show, and the Eagle Talk Uncut. I appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe to our Cool TV on YouTube. God bless everybody, and God bless Liberia, and God bless Africa.